Awesome.
So you guys, we have got a great week ahead. We are ready to roll. We're ready to get you started. We're ready to get this journey rolling. You know, the hardest part about joint venturing, it's not, believe it or not, it's not having people lining up to give you money. That part is, it happens. It really, really does. We've got like Ramy in our Ignited program. He's you know, a couple years in, and he's just like to the point where he's like, he's got more money than he has properties, and he's like, wow, I can't believe it. I know you said it would happen, but I can't believe I'm here. And it happens. But what's the hardest part is getting started. Mississauga, Canmore,
look at
Montreal.
this. The locations are just rolling in all across the country. Yeah,
we're rubbing it in a little bit then if it's cold. Hey. So yeah, getting started. That was my biggest thing. I always would say to people, and I mean, you know, we took lots of education, and we, you know, I read like crazy, did every book, CD, tapes even, you know, when that was around. And it was like, okay, great, I understand the concept, but how do I start? What do I do to start? I need something today, right now. So that's what we're gonna do this week. We're gonna give you those first steps. It's those first steps. Lots of times, you know, it's like riding a bike. The hardest part is getting going. Once you're rolling, you're good. But until you get going, until you start, that can just hold you back forever. So that's what we're going to do this week. We're going to get you started. You guys are going to be rolling in your joint venture journey. You're going to get momentum. You're going to get motivation. You're going to get results. You're going to try the things that we tell you to try. You're going to do these absolute, you know, simple exercises. You're going to do your homework 15 to 30 minutes a day. And after that, you're going to see and feel, and the things are going to start happening in your life independent of us. And you're going to go, holy smokes, this could actually happen for me. So that's pretty sweet. Yeah.
So guys, this week is life-changing. This week has the potential, if you want it to change the direction of where you're going, to change the direction of possibility for you, and not only for you, for the people you partner with, for your family, maybe your children, your parents, whatever it is. We're going to be talking more about that as the week goes on, but this week has the potential to start making some of those changes, and it has been a catalyst for many that have taken boot camp before, and it has changed lives already for many who have joined us as Ignited members, and those who have just taken the boot camp as well. So guys, we really, really want you to put the work in this week. Stay with us each day. Ask questions if you're getting confused. You know, if you're not quite understanding something, put a question in, because not only can we try to answer that, there's so many in this group that have taken boot camp before that are here, knowledged, learning, walking through the process themselves, doing it, boots on the ground, and they can help as well. So there's a ton of help that you will have this week. So so really, really looking forward to it. So thanks for being with us.
And here's the deal. So it looks like, you know, amazing, right? Like we're living in Thailand for 3 months. You know, we've done Mexico for a few winters. You know, we're in our life, our lifestyle, our investor life, it looks really awesome right now. But let me tell you, there was a lot of work that went into getting here, and a lot of rough times, a lot of tears, and you know, I see a lot of names popping up, and thanks for joining us, guys. Some of you guys, you know, and I won't use names, but I know you're going through that right now. I know that I've seen the tears that you've got, because this is huge. You know, it's supposed to be unemotional, but it's not unemotional for us. This is our life savings. This is maybe our one and only shot. This is maybe our only opportunity that we've ever realized, like it was for me, that I can change not just my life, but my family's life. I can create choice and freedom in our life that we didn't have. My dad's a first generation immigrant, came to Canada when he was 17, you know, with $200 in his pocket when he left. And you know, he started from scratch, no help. This real estate changed the trajectory of all of our lives forever. But when I was first starting in it, I knew that, and the stakes were freaking high, and it was scary. It was fear-inducing. I was paralyzed with fear. So I know a lot of you guys are sitting there the same way and you're going, I know I need to do this. I know I need to do this. I know I need to do this. But holy smokes, I'm scared. And you know what? You don't have to be. You don't have to be. We're going to walk you through this. We're going to start you on your journey, and you're going to see that there is potential. That, yeah, this could be for you. You're not going to be the only one in this world that learns about this and then can't do it. That's what I thought. I thought, I'm going to be the one person that I'm going to learn about all of this, and everyone around me is doing it. And I'm going to be the one person that this doesn't work for, and that would devastate me.
I remember
just the thought
thinking
of
that.
it.
I remember feeling that. I remember thinking, you know, good for them, good for them, good for them.
Like,
all these
wow,
other people that were
amazing.
buying real estate and doing, you know, being successful. And, you know, there's going to be something that will stop me. And I remember thinking that, and it was like, that's one of the things that maybe if you're just getting started, you might think, you might start thinking, well, yeah, everybody else is going to be able to do this, but I can't because of this, or this. And there's going to be something that stops me from doing it. But that does not have to be the case. And we have so many examples.
So many examples. We're going to introduce you to them over the week.
That have said that exact same thing and felt that exact same way, even from our last boot camp. And now they've done a joint venture. So yeah, super, super cool.
So here's the thing, what our plan is this week is to take out some of the roadblocks, okay? Because there's a lot of roadblocks, there's a lot of walls that come up, there's a lot of things that happen that just take away our momentum. It's like an obstacle hits, and when we don't know the answer or know what to do next, it stops us in our tracks, right? Like we're going along just great guns, and it's like, bang, we're stopped. And so looking at other people that have been successful, we see all the success, but what we don't see is all those roadblocks that they hit. And it's like that iceberg. The iceberg, you know, when you see an iceberg in the water, you see this beautiful, majestic. We were out in Newfoundland, and the blue that you see is just, it's gorgeous. And you just see this iceberg, but what you don't,
and some of them look pretty massive, right? Like from land, you look at them and they look just massive. But what you don't see, and you've probably seen pictures of this, is what's underneath the water, and it's like 10 times more. It gets way bigger underneath the water, and it's just a little tip that's sticking out. Yeah,
and so underneath is where all the hard work came in, and that's the majority of it. So that's what we want to help you get through, is some of that like iceberg stuff that's underneath it all, and that stops us. And, you know, at the end of the day, the tip of the iceberg is the success part that you see, but it's the other stuff that we're going to get you through.
So this week, what we are going to do, we called this group Fearless Investors for a reason. We want to take the fear out of investing. We want to reduce the fear. Are you still going to have a little bit of fear? Of course, we all do. But we can reduce it to the amount where it's not going to stress you out, where you're going to realize that this is something you can do, where, and in fact, help you through some of the mistakes so that you don't need to make them. We made a lot of mistakes along the way. The way our investing path was certainly not straight. We made a lot of, we bought properties we shouldn't have bought.
I think it actually went backwards.
Yeah, like there was a lot of things that we shouldn't have done. And the beauty of all of this is you can learn from those mistakes. You do not have to make them yourselves. With us, with the group that's around us, we're there to help you through those roadblocks, to get you past the stuff that stops a lot of people. A lot of people get into real estate investment and don't really do it right, and then they're out of it. To actually create wealth, to change lives, to change families. So we don't want that to happen to you. That's why we created this boot camp, to get you going in the right direction.
Yeah, you bet. So for us, you know, we kind of went in, and as we always do, we go into things with the mindset of service. So we're here to serve. And so we went into joint venture partnerships with a mindset of service. We are here to help people and help our partners. But what we didn't, know was all the bumps that we were going to hit along the way. And so those are the things that we're going to take out of the road for you. So, one thing I always said was that I'm spinning my wheels. I always thought, I'm spinning my wheels. I am moving. I am doing stuff. It's not like I'm sitting still. I am going. My energy is being wasted and time, and it's going. But I'm not getting anywhere. And so that's one thing that I want to say to you is that, for those of you that feel that you're spinning your wheels right now, and I don't know if anyone's spinning your wheels, let us know. Like, is that you? If you're spinning your wheels, I want you to think about a couple illustrations, okay? So sand on a beach. We're near a beach. Or snow, which is more what I think of, because that's my reality for the most part. Snow, when you are, stuck in snow, and you've got yourself in a rut and you're spinning those tires and it's spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning, and hopefully most of Canada will know what I'm talking about, you're not going anywhere. But what happens when you get pushed over that hump? You get rocky, you get the car rocking, or someone pushes you, or you get a little bit of traction. You go from being in that rut, I'm spinning my wheels,
putting a lot of effort into something and not getting anywhere.
Yep. But what happens once you get over that hump, that one that's over, in front of your front tire, you got to put the brakes on, right? Because you get over that hump and you fly. You got to put the brakes on to stop yourself. And that's what happens in real estate, okay? Time to refocus. Awesome, Corey. You did amazing in your JV raise. You did so. And you know what? Well-deserved break. Spinning them wildly, Randy, for sure. In snow last weekend. Okay, guys, this traction is what I'm talking about. You're gonna have to put your brakes on, okay? So when you're spinning your wheels and you know you're doing this and you know you're working and you know you're doing going, you're not getting anywhere yet, it's okay. It's okay. You are getting somewhere, because when it hits, for us, it took 16 months. Now, I watched some people come into real estate investing 2-3 months in, they're just like flying, and I'm like, holy Hannah, how? It took us 16 months of sitting there spinning, thinking we were getting nowhere, but when we hit, it skyrocketed. So we should quickly tell our story. It took us 16 months to get started. We were 24 years old. We had no experience. We had no money. But after 16 months, when we started going, we were able to buy over 100 properties in the next 2.5 years. So I'll repeat that, because I say it so flippantly now, because that's just our reality. But I forget how amazing that really actually is, and how life-changing that's been for us. We bought over 100 properties in the next 2.5 years. We changed our lives, changed them.
And here's the key. When we say we bought over 100 properties, should we bought all of those? Probably not.
No.
Do you need to buy 100 properties?
No.
Definitely not.
Don't do it.
It's not necessary. But the point is that once we kind of got unstuck, once those wheels, we put the brakes on those wheels, we got a little bit of a push in the right direction, then we were able to fly. And that's really what this is all about, is if you're feeling, and we saw a lot of people commenting here, you're feeling like you're stuck, you're spinning your wheels. I remember thinking every single year, next year's going to be better, next year's going to be better, next year's going to be better, and a year goes by and I'm in the same spot. I haven't really done anything extra, financially in the same spot, all of those sorts of things, and not really getting anywhere. But once you get unstuck, once you get that little push, once you have that team behind you pushing you, what happens is you can then fly. And wherever you want to go, whether that's buying one property, whether that's buying 5 or 10 or buying 100 plus, it doesn't matter. The point is you can get to where you want to go once you get that little push. And that's where it can all start this week with Bootcamp. And
Sean and Heidi, I just saw you guys comment there. You're like, yeah, you guys got us to refocus. Awesome. So Sean and Heidi are in our Ignited program. So every single week we're working on focusing on joint venturing, focusing on raising money. So they have been rocking and rolling. They just got their first JV under their belts. They're repositioning a lot of their current properties and getting more. So as much as you guys have been successful and doing well for the last 3-4 years, but when you really focus on joint venturing, the sky becomes the limit, right? You open up for opportunity. So anyways, guys,
we talked about this a little earlier too today, is that some people think, well, I have to choose joint venturing, or I have to choose if I'm going to do flips, or I have to choose if I'm going to do Airbnb, or I have to choose if I'm doing long-term buy and hold. That's not the point. The point is if you have somebody else fund your real estate purchases, that's what joint venturing is. It's essentially convincing somebody to invest with you, convincing somebody else to put the money, the mortgage qualification into the deal so that you don't have to do that. And then you can take that and do any real estate strategy you want.
Yeah.
And so that's really the key to all of this.
Woo.
Hopefully we didn't disappear there. It starts with finding the money. And once you have that, the sky is the limit and you can go anywhere you want.
Yeah. And Colin, I see you're saying like, I want traction, Leona. Yeah. we're going to get that for you. Okay, so stick with us this week. Please just trust the system. It works. And those that look at Gord, he's saying, guys, just stick with it. It works. Gord was you a couple months ago, sitting there going, I don't know what I'm doing here. And you know what? He probably still doesn't know fully what he's doing, but he is making waves. He is moving forward now, and that's the deal. Overwhelming feelings, absolutely, Brenda. That is, I think, the number one thing that I could say my emotions were at the time. I just felt so overwhelmed. And when I get overwhelmed, even just taking the garbage out, if I don't know how spot to put the garbage will sit there because I can't take it out because I don't know where to put it. I get overwhelmed really easily. And you're going to see, stick with us, you're going to see, not going to be a problem by the end of this week, okay?
Okay, awesome. I saw a question,
sorry,
and we'll touch into this just in a minute, but I saw a question from Mike. What is your stake or role in all of those 100 properties? What does that even mean? So good question, very good question. On average, when we're talking about joint venturing, we're talking about somebody putting in the money, somebody qualifying for the mortgage. They get 50% of any profits for doing that. Somebody else is the working partner. They do all the work. They find the properties. They negotiate on them. They close on them. They deal with the tenants. They do the renovations if necessary. Then they sell the property. So they do all of the work involved, and they get 50% of the profit. So that is a typical joint venture split, would be 50-50. Some of ours are a little bit different. Some of ours have different percentages. But when we're talking about it, on average, it's 50-50. And Sean just put that in the comments. And so we have on average, let's say 50% of those 100 properties became ours. But the key to all of this is that we didn't put in a cent on those properties. In fact, all the 100+ properties that we purchased, we only put in roughly $27,000 of our own money.
And that wasn't at the beginning because we didn't have money at the beginning to put in. That came a little bit later once we were able to refinance some of those properties and get some money out or sell some of them. And then we did have money, so we could put money in, but not at first. I just wanted to quickly touch on the joint venture split thing. So joint venturing in general is where two people come together that have different assets, okay? So I have something that he doesn't, he has something that I don't. A lot of times it's, time. So he might have money, but he has no time. I might have time, but I have no money. That's the role we took. We had time, but no money. We had energy, but no money. We had drive, but no money. So it's two different partners bringing together different assets. What are those assets? Time, experience, money, knowledge. There's so many different things. So whatever asset you have a void with, you find someone who has that, and vice versa. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So couple quick things. So who's this for? A lot of people say to me, I have no experience. I have none. I don't know. I haven't bought a property yet. I've got the knowledge. I've taken the education. I've got the support team, but I don't have properties. So what am I? What am I to a partner? Is this for me? Yes, bootcamp is for you. Yes, this is where we started. Our whole system is based on this because we had no experience. We had no money. We had no experience. Yet we were able to do it. It doesn't matter if you don't have experience. Is it going to take you a little bit longer? Yeah, it might take you a few more months. Okay? Changing your life still. Just changing your life, okay?
And here's the thing.
A few more months, but it's still powerful.
If you have no money, you have no experience, you have no, not the greatest credit, that's fine.
That is
still, this is for you specifically. But if you're also somebody that has properties, you're somebody that is an investor already, you're experienced, you maybe have 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 properties, it doesn't matter, and you want to scale. You want to be able to now go and get your next 10 properties, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
This is for you as well, because at the end of the day, if you have the money sitting there, it's up to you where you want to spend it and what you want to spend it on. And this is all about finding that money to continue your journey, to continue your real estate goals. And so if you're new, this is for you. If you're experienced, this is for you. It's for any investor that's looking to scale in real estate.
Absolutely. So, I just want to touch a little bit more too on the power of choice and the power of freedom that you have in your life. So we're going to talk a little bit more on Thursday. I think Thursday is the most important day that we have, so please try to join us for Thursday. It's also one of the hardest days for you to hit. So please join us on Thursday. But we went from being in a position of no choice, no freedom, absolutely stuck in a really life and death situation, like literally, And you'll hear more a little bit about that on Thursday. But, you know, it drove us, and the ability, so right now, if something were to happen and financially we needed to be able to come up with money, there's very few things that we couldn't figure out at this point in our lives. 10 years ago, we could not say that. 10 years ago, we were stuck. Like it even just puts a feeling in my chest right now, thinking about how stuck we were and how much we needed it, and yet we didn't have it. So, you know, that's one thing, that unbelievable choice is what we want to show you. And we don't want to do it by adding any more time or effort, because you probably agree, you guys have enough going on as investors, and you know, we have families and we're entrepreneurs, and lots of us, this is a side gig and we're working and it's just busy, busy, busy. So we're not adding any more to your time. All we're going to do is shift your focus. We're going to show you where to focus and where not to focus, and just change your mindset a little bit so that you can start focusing on the right things that are going to get you traction in that same area that you're already spinning your wheels in.
So here we go. Hard work. Who's ready? I want to see some heck yeah in the comments.
Yeah.
Who is ready to put in the work? Who is ready to make some changes? Who is ready to change the direction, the trajectory of your life? That's what this boot camp can do. That's what it has done. And you're seeing the comments of people coming in here since joining, since doing boot camp, the difference that this has made in their lives. They've doubled the amount of doors, or they've bought X number of properties. This can do that for you too. So let's hear some heck yeahs. We're seeing them starting to come across the screen now. So thank you guys. We're excited to do this. We're hoping that you're excited to do this, and it looks as though you guys are. So that's awesome. Look at them all come in.
I love it. Okay, guys. So we're gonna stop and just take a minute here to you know, kind of break it down a little bit for you personally. What needs changing in your life? So is it a job? Is there a job that you need to scale back on and or quit? Is there some negative energy in that job that you're just like done with, and you know you need to be done? Is it, you know, family that needs you? Is it, you know, aging parents? Is it young ones that, you know, you want to stay home with and not have to work? Is it a spouse that's in a job that's, you know, killing them, maybe emotionally, maybe mentally, maybe physically, and you want them the heck out of that job? Heck yeah. Leona, I love it. Me. So good.
Way to go, guys.
Yeah. So what is it right now in your life that you need changing? Is it bill collectors calling you? I've had that before. Is it like that feeling when your phone rings and you don't know who it is? This was before call display, so it was like I just would be like, bill collectors calling me. Is it the bill collectors that you need stopped? What is it in your life? So I want you to take a minute.
The thing about this is that every single one of us has something different that motivates us. Every single one of us, maybe we don't have bill collectors calling, but maybe we have an aging parent that we want to take care of. Maybe we have some children now that we want to put through schooling. Or maybe we just want to go and start traveling the world. Or we want to start spending more time doing our favorite hobbies, whatever that might be.
He's talking about golf right now, just so you know.
By the way, I haven't golfed the golf courses here yet. There's 2 golf courses on this island. I'm going to try to make it out to them next week after our boot camp is done, and I'll check them out and see. I heard they're really good. So yes, what is it for you? And if you want to share that in your comments, it is a little bit personal sometimes, but the more personal, the more real we make this. The more we share it with others and talk about it, the more accountable we become to changing that, to reaching that goal, whatever it is that we're trying to reach. What is it that drives you? That, you know, you will put whatever it takes. We talked about this week being hard work.
All in.
This week is going to be some hard work. There is going to be some homework. But, you know, that work and that homework and completing it and doing it is what makes it all worthwhile. What are you doing all that for? Why are you here tonight? You're here for a reason. Every single one of you is here for a reason.
Yeah.
What is that? Start really thinking about that.
Why are you going to spend your week with us?
Yeah.
Why are you going to push out of your comfort zone? There's a void. There is a void that you need to fix. I'm just going to read a couple. So Brandon, freedom to spend time with my family. So 11 minutes a day is generally what we spend with our loved ones. 11 minutes a day. That is crazy. But we don't really have much more than that, do we? We really don't have much more than that a lot of times. Leona, you need to help with your granddaughter more. Interesting. You know, grandkids and aging parents are among the biggest motivators for people in getting into this kind of stuff. That's what we found from talking to people. I want to tell you a little story too that for me was very motivating. So it was years ago, and for those of you who've heard this before, sorry, but it was hugely motivating for me. There was an older lady that attended our church, and we didn't know her well. She had just moved in, but she was going through radiation treatments, and she didn't know anybody. She didn't know anyone. And yet she was having to take a taxi to go to 45 minutes to a hospital to get her radiation treatments for, 10 minutes, get back in the car and go back home sick. And yet her kids were not able to take her because they had to work. And they couldn't take time off to come to the city where we lived and help her. And so I drove her for weeks, 6 weeks or something, or 4 weeks maybe. And every day I thought to myself, there is no way I will have my parents being driven by some stranger to their appointments. I took her to the oncologist, I took her to the cross, how on earth? No way, I wasn't having it. And lots of you guys are saying, I want my husband to be able to stop working, I want to spend time with my grandkids, I want to take care of my elderly mom. I saw that, Rachel. There's so many things that we want and need. And we need to be different in our lives. So if you want change, you have to affect change. If you want change, if you don't want your same reality and that same problem that you guys are all putting in, Trevor, he says, take care of my aging parents. Trevor is changing his life. Trevor is amazing, the things that he's doing, the way that he takes care of his partners, the way that he approaches investing. Cash flow king for sure. Sean and Trevor together. But Trevor, you're going to have that. Taking care of my aging parents. Just started your journey, but you're already doing so well. You're going to have it. And that's because you've stepped way out of your comfort zone, Trevor. When we first met him, we pushed him, and he jumped on it and took it, and it was amazing, the immediate results that he got. So guys,
love the comments
legacy,
about creating this legacy, helping family, all of these sorts of things, because at the end of the day, it's those things that when you hit that roadblock, when you hit that fence, and you got to do some work to get over it, it's remembering what's driving you, remembering these comments that you're putting in right now. That's what's important. Now, is it worth it to put in a little extra work? Is it worth it to do that hard work to get over that roadblock? To maybe work harder to get the financing, or work harder to go and meet that potential joint venture partner, to deal with that tenant that might be in your property. Yeah. Is it worth the work that's necessary to reach the goal that you just put in the feed? That goal that's driving you. What would you do to get it? To have your husband stop working, or to have
stay home with your 9-month-old instead of going back to work.
Exactly.
Jessica.
Exactly.
Andrea, be able to live your passion and do it with joy instead of doing it because you're trying to do it, but because you're doing it with full-on passion for those projects.
And we're going to be focusing on this a lot more later this week when we talk about our why. But we want you to right now start thinking about, what are you doing all this for? And actually open your minds, guys, and start dreaming a little bit, okay? Start thinking about, what is it that I really want in life, and how can I get there? And that's what this week is going to start you on that direction, okay? And maybe you've been in boot camp before and you didn't follow through, and you're back here again. Well, this is another opportunity to get going on that direction, to reach those goals that you're putting in the feed now, that you're starting to think about. And why are we spending time on all of this? We haven't even gotten to our topic for the day yet. But why are we doing this? Because it's these things that we have to have in our mind. We have to have the right mindset going into this, so that we can actually follow through and do the work that's necessary. So we wanted to just kind of set the table and say, start dreaming.
Start dreaming
thinking big.
Seriously, just do it this week. I'm not a dreamer. I believe in reality. I don't like living in bubbles. I like things to just, like, I'm a realist, I always say. So that could be almost a pessimist sometimes. But, you know, start dreaming a little bit bigger. This is heartbreaking stuff. Like staying home with my kids, you know, having a daughter that needs support. My husband's job is killing him physically. I saw another one about a job that said, I can't remember the wording, but like basically killing my husband. Terrible stuff. I want to retire my mom from her minimum wage job. You know, so many things that we're seeing in the comments from people. These are the things that you need to keep top of mind this week. These are the things that you're going to change. Okay, these are the things you're going to start really seeing are possible for you to be done with. And if all that we leave you with at the end of the week is belief and hope, not because of, you know, false belief or random hope, but because you've actually seen tangible results from your efforts, and now you can actually believe all of those things, you know what, then we will have done our job and we will have set you on your way, because believing is half the battle. I didn't think it could happen to me, and it did. And lots of times we come in thinking, you know, somehow it's not going to happen to us, but it does. So here's another thought on this. Interestingly enough, 69% of Canadians, 69% will have to rely on a part-time job in retirement. Let that sink in a little bit. 69%, 70%, 7 out of 10 of our people are going to have to rely on other income. Now, whether that's a part-time job, that's income from children, or have some sort of government subsidy. This is subsidy not for, you know, traveling the world and golfing and doing yoga at 80 years of age. This is for necessities. This is just to live the quality of life that they have while they're working. So, absolutely depressing statistic, Jessica. Here's one thing for you. We're going to turn that stat from depressing into motivating. Mm-hmm. So here's the deal, guys. Do you see that people need you? Mm-hmm. They don't have any other option. They don't know real estate. They don't even understand leverage. They don't understand cash flow. They don't understand how it could work. They can't deal with tenants. They can't deal with toilets. They don't have another option. They've got their mutual fund options at 2 to 3%, if not 0 or -% every year. That's their option until you are a vehicle for change, not just in your life. All those things that you put in the feed, saying how much you know, have for your life going on and what you want to change. That's great. But guess what? You can also change their lives. Mm-hmm. We retired we didn't know this part going in, by the way. We didn't think of it that way. But we retired a gentleman. He'd come from China to Canada. Same thing, first generation immigrant. Yeah. Not very much, but he'd managed to save and work hard. He was in his mid-70s and he was still a janitor at night. For some reason, put his trust in us through his kids, because he couldn't really speak English. And we were able to triple his money in 3 years. Is that typical? No, it's not typical. But were we able to do it? Yes. Was he able to retire? Yes. He stopped mopping floors with his poor little old back, you know, and we were able to do that for him. We were able to retire my dad. You know, not that we only did it, but, you know, we were able to show him and teach him, and his properties, his real estate is what allows him to finally not be working in minus 30 degrees in Edmonton, Alberta as a welder with arthritis in his neck and in his trigger hand. We're able to change that. And that's through joint venture. So we were and are a catalyst for change. You are a catalyst for change in people's lives. They need you. They really do. The alternative, remember, what's the alternative? The alternative is them having to work through their retirements, 70%. So that's one thing that can really change your mindset. When we go into, and we're going to get into this, don't worry, this week, we're going to get into this more. But when you have the ability to offer someone a completely different life than what they're living right now, You no longer go into them asking for money and saying, hey, you know, I need this, I need that, I need to retire my mom, I need to help my parents, I need to stay home with my kids, I need to spend time with my grandkids. You're now saying, hey, listen, I've got an amazing opportunity for you. I'd love for you to join me. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And absolutely, that changes. Can you see
these are the things
that changes?
This is the things that we're going to be talking about this week, is just those little tweaks in the way we think about things. Because you know what? Sometimes we have to think about it differently for our message to come out differently, for somebody to hear it differently. And that's really what it takes, is just a little tweak. Instead of, hey, I need some money so I can buy some real estate, or hey, you know, do you want to joint venture with me? Do you want to invest with me? It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about what can I do for you? And we're going to talk about that more this week, so we're not going to get into that now. But it's these little tweaks that you're going to hear throughout the week.
So we're going to show you the boots on the ground version, okay? So as you can see, we're not very eloquent speakers. We say and lose our train of thought, or I do all the time. So this is not, you know, all eloquent and by the book and textbook. This is on the ground, boots on the ground, in the trenches version. How does it actually work in the real world? I get the theory of it, but now how do I actually say it? What do I actually do? How do I position myself? How do I hold myself? How do I answer those tough questions? You know, in the real world, how do I do all of these things? And so that's what we're going to do. We are going to show you, even if you're shy, how do you attract investors so that they can come to you? Because that's the hardest part, is going and talking to people that you don't know, or well, that you do know, but that you don't know in that capacity, and start asking them for stuff. Well, you're inviting them to stuff. Just like you invite people for a good dinner to your place. If you're inviting them for steak and lobster, you wouldn't be like, hey, so just thought I'd see if, you know, you wanted to. No, you'd be like, hey, we got lobster flown in from Nova Scotia, and we're having, you know, Alberta beef, and, you know, come over, bring a friend, you know. So totally different. So, you know, really just a good reminder, stop and think about that motivation. Think about what we were talking about, the kids, the grandkids, all of those things, because it's not about money. It's not about, you know, dollars. It's not about cash flow. It's not about ROI. It's about the change that we're making in our lives and in the lives of other people.
And it's about having choice. Having the choices. Maybe you still want to work. Maybe you still want to go to have a job, but maybe now you can go to your job because you want to versus you have to. And it's just providing the choices in life that you can then do what you want to do with your time.
Totally.
Do what you want to do with your money. Help other people out. That's really what this is all about.
Yeah. Okay. So if you guys are starting to think a little bit differently already, okay, just in the last little bit.
No, Sean, you can't qualify for the scholarship.
Sean, you already exceeded the scholarship, you weirdo. So Sean is one that joined Ignited, and within, I think it was 8 weeks, doubled your doors. Is that right, Sean? Mr. Rocket Man over there in Halifax. What did I say, Rocket Man?
I have no idea.
I'm thinking like...
He's in Nova Scotia, not North Korea.
Oh, right. It's not a great connotation. Sorry. I meant like, you know, flying or whatever. Anyways.
And yes, I saw a comment, it rolled by really quick, about feeling the group, and we're all in this together. And that is so true.
Yeah.
We are all in this together. We are a group of fearless investors. That's what we are. And we will make this happen. And if you stick together as a group and we answer each other's questions and we support each other, this is not the place, guys, where we put down somebody for their idea.
No, you'll be kicked out.
Yeah, this is the place where we support each other, where we answer each other's questions, where we can steer one another into the right direction so that we can all reach what we want to reach. So
this is worth it, I promise you.
I love the comment, Colin, you just put in, we're not competing with each other, we are all partners. And that is so true. I remember when we first started, I was in a room of 800 different real estate investors learning this strategy, and I thought to myself at that point, well, if everybody's learning this strategy, how am I going to do it? Because everybody's going to be doing it. How is somebody going to invest with me? You don't have to worry about that. There is so much out there. There is so much power and money that is sitting out there waiting to be invested that we're going to show you how to find this week, that yes, we are all in this together. Don't worry about, oh, there's so many people learning this strategy and now I can't do it. Absolutely take that thought right out of your mind.
And at the time that we were raising money, and I mean like concerted effort in raising money, there were three other groups of people or couples or whatever that were also raising money and that were like doing really well. And what's interesting is there was a couple other randoms, and those randoms that didn't like come and hang out with us and like push each other and help each other, and those guys didn't make it. They never made it. It was those few where, you know, we were respectful of each other. We're like, okay, you're talking to that guy, all good. I'm like hands off, you know, or hey, listen, I'll be talking to someone about a partnership and I'll be like, you know, it doesn't really match what I'm doing and I can't really be of service to you, but you know who can? And I would send them to our competition, as people would have called it. And you know what? They would do the same for us, and we all grew together. We grew hundreds of properties in a couple of years together by helping one another. So it's those that don't help one another that aren't around too long. And you'll see that after being in this circle for probably the last, 16 years, they don't last long. So be friends, be nice, be kind, be good humans, and all of the rest of the stuff will come together. So I just want to say too that while we go through this process, you're going to fail. You're going to go through some stuff that's, not easy, and you're going to fail. But here's the deal. You don't have to be perfect. If you ask me to add 12 and 48, or hey, I know that one, 50, 60. But if you ask me to add 36 and 42, honestly, I cannot do it. I'm not a numbers person. I'm not a math person. But yet I have millions and millions of dollars in real estate. How does that work? I didn't have to be perfect. I found people that could fill in the voids that I had. So if you're not perfect, and if you screw up and if you fail at stuff, it's okay.
Totally
the system
okay.
still works for you. Okay,
and
guys?
That's one of the things. It's about being a real person, and we're going to talk about this throughout the week. You know, we think that, if we're going to attract investors, we're going to attract money, we have to be so polished. We have to say everything right. We can't make a mistake. People are going to think that we're not professional enough. We might have those thoughts going through our head, but at the end of the day, that you can wipe that clean. It's about being a real person. It's about having a real conversation, and we're going to be talking about that as this week goes on. Really, that's what people invest in. They invest in you as a person with everything that you bring to the table that's good, but also all of the things that you bring to the table that aren't good. And that's what makes you real, right? And it's about being real. Who do you feel more comfortable with, the slick salesman or the person that feels honest and trustworthy? You definitely would buy something from the honest and trustworthy person versus somebody who is so slick that they say the right thing every single time. You don't believe them.
Totally.
So that's something that we want to stick with you as well. Mistakes are okay. You're gonna make them. You're gonna fail. You're gonna hear no's. Those are all okay as we go through this process.
Yeah. So what we often hear from people is that the hardest thing to figure out at first is, how to get that conversation going. Like, how do you just walk up to someone and be like, hey, can you give me your money? Or, hey, I need money. Or, hey, I'm looking for money. And we've had people do that to us. Literally walk up to us cold and be like, hey, I'm looking for money. I'm looking for joint venture money. Hey. And it's like, well, that's very happy for you. Good job. Like, I'm not investing with you. I don't know you. You don't just start throwing yourself out there and saying, hey, I'm looking for money. It's not how it works. So how does it work, right? What do you say to people? So that's, something we're going to work on right now. So get your worksheets out if you have them. If you don't, that's okay. You'll get it.
Here we go,
sent to you
guys.
later.
This is where we get into the meat and potatoes of our topic today. And our topic today is, what's the title of our topic today? Our one-line money maker. And that's what we call it. And if you've heard this before, you've worked on this before, that's okay. This is the time to maybe make the tweaks, maybe make some changes to it. So having a one-line moneymaker, we just termed it that because that's really what it is. It's a one-line sentence.
That term, actually.
And did we?
Yeah.
Okay. That we can say to people when they ask us, who are you? What do you do?
So here's the deal.
Do we have an answer?
If we can't be clear and concise in our own answer, if we can't tell them who we are and what we do, we will not find people to talk to about partnering. We get many people that come up to us you know, at like events. So we do a lot of speaking at events. Maybe we met some of you. And we get people always coming up to us after and saying, okay, listen, I've got properties. I'm really, you know, I'm ready to roll. I've got an opportunity. And some are seasoned investors and, okay, I'm ready to joint venture. Yeah, perfect. So what do I do? And they'll say to us, you know, I'll be like, okay, great. So what is it you have to offer? What do you offer to your joint venture partners, your money partners? And to this point, we have never yet had someone answer our question properly, clearly. So they often will say stuff like, well, I'm an investor. I partner with people. I get money. I buy properties. Awesome. As a money partner, that doesn't tell me very much. As a money partner, it doesn't tell me why I should invest with you. So that's what I get, is either a short answer like that, or I get a crazy answer that goes, well, you know, I take properties and I flip them and I subdivide the land first, and then we pay out our equity partners percentages,
and I use RRSPs and TFSAs and
right,
and
VTBs
GIFs
after
and,
with the sellers and
right,
yeah,
yes.
and then my partners are happy.
Yeah.
And that's what so we get two different answers. One is super short and not enough information, and the other is this long-winded explanation that makes my head spin, and I go like, what? I understand investment real estate, I have no idea what you just said.
So right now, stop for a second, and I want you to think to yourself, if I asked you a question and we were speaking face-to-face right now, and we're standing maybe at a real estate event, or we're standing in a grocery store, or we're standing at work and talking to no, we wouldn't be doing this at work, asking what they do, but we're talking to somebody at soccer practice, whatever it might be, and somebody says to you right now, what is it that you do?
Yeah. What would your answer be? Like,
what
as an investor, okay? Not what do you do in your day job, but what do you do as an investor?
Who
what
are
would
you?
Your answer be?
And what do you do?
How
do you answer that
just
question?
Think about it.
How do you answer that question? We'll give you a minute. Think about that. How are you going to answer that question? Hi, hey, how's it going? So yeah, I met you a while ago or whatever. What is it that you do anyway? How do you answer? What's your response going to be? You know, a lot of times we're like, oh, well, I'm a welder, or oh, well, I work in I work for I don't know. I'm an accountant,
engineer. I don't
whatever.
know what you.
But here's the key. If people don't know that you are in investment real estate, or wanting to be in investment real estate, or wanting to be a real estate investor, if they don't know that and you never tell them, then there's no way that they could potentially become a partner. So it sounds very, very simple, but it is. It's very simple. We have to start telling people who we are and what we do in one line, one sentence, make it simple, so then clear, so that they understand it, and so that they know that we are investment real estate. And the beauty of all of this, a beauty of having a one-line moneymaker, is that then people start asking you questions. And then people say, oh, why are you in investment real estate? Or you're investing in this market right now?
Why?
Or why would you want to deal with tenants? Or they start asking you questions, and that's where the conversation can continue. But it all starts with what we're talking about today. It all starts with your one-line moneymaker. If I asked you right now, who are you? What do you do? How are you going to answer that question? And we'll give you a few seconds
and in the meantime, we'll answer this question here that Ryan threw in, which is a really good question. So what about when you aren't an investor? What about when you're just starting out? Do you say that? Yeah, you say that. And we're going to talk a little bit about your value proposition and what you do have to offer. Because Ryan, you may not be an investor yet, but you know, maybe you're an awesome project manager. Maybe you're really good with numbers. Maybe you're the party guy that can deal with tenants and you know, make everyone feel comfortable and be really clear, concise communicator. You know, maybe there's so many things that you have to offer, and so we're going to work through that today, so that, you know, yeah, I'm getting started in real estate investing, or I'm just learning about real estate, or I've just learned how to analyze properties to get the best return in real estate, or I'm taking my future into my own hands. But yes, absolutely. Do you say it? You absolutely do. You are who you are, and you own it 100%, full transparency. But we're going to work through a little bit of what you can then offer. So we're going to get to that. So good question, Ryan.
I like that, Helen. I'm a real estate investor just starting out. Even something like that, that's very simple. We're going to start to define some of these comments that you guys are putting in. We're going to start helping you with it, critiquing with it, and adding some of the elements that we think are important to have in your one-line moneymaker. So as we go through this, and I love the fact that you guys are throwing some ideas on there, and how you would answer that question, you're probably starting now to put a little bit of thought into this, because I bet you on a weekly basis, several times, at least once, but I bet several times people are asking you who you are, what you do, and if they're not, we're going to show you different ways throughout this week where you can start getting asked that question. You can start having these conversations, but starting to nail down, starting to practice our one-line moneymaker, you will find it can start to change the trajectory of your life. Believe it or not, one sentence can start to make a difference, because what it does is it leads into conversations, and that's our topic for tomorrow, but it leads into conversations that we can then direct towards real estate, and that's how Tiffany and I found all of our partners. It all starts with this one line. So we're going to start working on that.
So, but just so you know, it took us a long time to figure out that we actually had to get way more clear, way more concise, and way more simple. Simple, in order to actually work on it. Deb, it evolves, right? Your one-line moneymaker evolves, it changes. So one good place to start is to try to picture your ideal person that you're targeting. So there's a lot of people out there. Now, if we just kind of leave it general and say, hey, I work with investors, or I work with people, and I partner with them, that's a pretty broad spectrum. Now, when I first heard about, joint venturing, I assumed myself that it had to be like multimillionaires. It was like, well, Warren Buffett is an investor, it was a venture capitalist. I'm not one of those people. And what we find is a lot of people don't see themselves as a money partner until the seed is planted. So anyone that has equity in their home, anyone, that has RSPs sitting there, anyone who has a line of credit available, all of those are potential partners, but they may not even realize that they are a potential partner for you. So what we want to do is we want to take our, vision of who we're talking to, and we want to niche it down. Now, does that close doors for you? Does that make it so that, well, if I say I'm dealing with people with RSPs, then this guy might not be interested? No. Coke and Pepsi, some of the biggest marketers out there, they don't go marketing to the masses. They funnel their marketing efforts. Look at Apple. They funnel their marketing efforts at a certain demographic, and they really hone in on that demographic. They're really good at it. They master it. And then they have another campaign for different demographics. So who is your demographic? What is the demographic? Is it people with, home equity? Are you in Vancouver or Toronto, where a lot of people all around you are super, they might not have a lot of cash in the bank, but they have a lot of equity available and they don't know how to use it. It's just sitting there. They're not making any money on it. Do you work in a profession where there's a lot of people that have great pension plans and RSPs, built up, but again, they're not making any money on it. They're putting money aside, they're getting a savings account, but they're not making any money on it. Who else? Young families. Are you a young family? Do you focus on young families that want to, change their trajectory? Why do I keep using that word since I can't say it? Of their families. Are you a young family? Are you a retiree? You have money put aside, but it's not serving you right now. You worked your whole life, and you're not really getting the benefits from the money that you do have. Maybe you want monthly cash flow. Maybe you want ROI. Some people want ROI. In other words, they don't need monthly cash flow right now. surprisingly, there's a lot of people that don't need monthly cash flow.
So love some of the comments that are coming through here, guys. Some of the ideas that you're throwing in there as far as who you can help, what problems they might have. And these are some of the things that we want to start talking about, because if, for example, if we just say, I invest in real estate, I help people invest in real estate, and maybe that's our one-line moneymaker, that's fine and dandy. However, it's not really targeting something specific. It's not really telling what problem you might be able to solve for somebody. And those are some of the things that we want to have in our one-line moneymaker. So for example, Tiff was talking about people that might work with ones who have RRSPs. So, you know, a one-line moneymaker that we might use is, I help people that have RRSPs get a better return in their portfolios by investing in real estate instead of in stocks and mutuals. You know, that might be a one-line moneymaker, just an example. So it's being specific, it's being who can we help, how are we helping them?
So you allow them to picture themselves in that. Oh,
and
I
what
have
problem
RSPs.
are we fixing? Exactly.
Yeah. So that's the first part to it, is who is your target? It might be, I help my friends and family invest in real estate, giving them monthly income.
Mm-hmm. So now that clarifies who you're helping, friends
and
family. They're like,
oh, wait, I'm your friend.
How
I'm
you're
your
helping
family.
them in real estate, and what are you providing?
Yeah,
monthly income. So in one sentence, I help friends and family invest in real estate by providing monthly income for them. Now, when I say that, it doesn't roll off my tongue easily, does it? In fact, I'm sitting here looking at notes of an example that we wrote down. Now that does not roll off my tongue easily, because that's not what I've been using. So I help my friends and family invest in real estate by providing monthly income for them. Now, if I say that 10 times,
over and over,
if I say that over and over, if I practice using that on the next time somebody asks me, who are you, what do you do? It's not gonna roll off my tongue easily. I'm gonna stumble. And it's okay. It's okay if you stumble, because you have to stumble a few times before it starts becoming natural.
Now we're going to break this down, and you're going to make your own one-line moneymaker. Okay, we're not quite there yet, but don't worry, we're going to get there. But here's the deal: you got to say it out loud. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to. Like you do, it has to roll off your lips normally, naturally. You can't get too formal about it. If someone says, oh, so, you know, you're at a wine and cheese or at a soccer practice of your son, and someone says, oh, so what do you do? And you go, well, thank you very much for asking. Actually, what I do is I, you know, get all formal about it. It's not going to work. Mm-hmm. It's not going to work. It has to be you. So we're going to make this you. We're going to get you to practice it. And here's the deal. You write it down on paper. Then you try it out loud, and you're like, blah, that was terrible. So you're going to practice it out loud again and again and again. Once we get it down pat, we're not quite there yet. But was I just going to say, okay, here's some more ideas. Here's some more ideas on targets, okay? Who your target might be. You know, we have people that focus on multifamily. I work with people who want to invest in apartment buildings, okay? There's a target. Suited properties, so small multifamily or suited houses or duplexes, depending on what area of the country you're from, you might call it something different. I deal with people who want, you know, short-term rentals, Airbnbs or corporate rentals. I buy student housing. I work with partners who want to provide student housing. I do BRRRRs, so BRRR, buy, renovate, rent, and refinance. Or flip to yourself, as Keyspire will call it. So, you know, who is it that you want to target, and what is it that they're looking for? So when we're thinking about our target, we're going to choose our target. You might be an engineer. You might work with a lot of engineers. So you might say, I work with engineers to help them get a better return on their RSPs. I work with engineers to help them use equity in their homes better. Dentists, there's lots of dentists that are attracted to real estate.
Yeah, so here's the key. Now, if you're talking to somebody that you know is an engineer, you're not going to say, I work with dentists to help invest in real estate, but you're going to say, I work with engineers. If you're at your dentist office, you're not going to say, I work with engineers. You're going to say, I work with dentists to help them find great returns in their investment real estate. So the point of this is being specific to the people that you're talking to, being specific as to who you want to help, because who you want to help might not necessarily be the same person as somebody else, or what type of properties you want to buy, or the location where you are buying might not be the same as somebody else or the person next to you. So being specific as to who you are, what you have to offer, who you work with, starting to specify that in your one-line moneymaker and changing it as it goes is very, very, very valuable.
So you might have a couple of different one-line moneymakers that you're going to work with, but today we want you to focus on one.
Yes.
So who is it that you're going to most often be talking to? Is that someone at work? Is that someone at soccer practice? Is that someone at a networking real estate event or an educational seminar? Who are you most probably in the next week? Okay, because we're going to be putting this into practice this week. So in the next week, who are you most likely to be talking to? I want you to make that your target. Now, what's the importance of figuring out your target? Is that if we know our target and we know our demographic and we know who we're speaking to, then we can figure out what their biggest problem is. Now, as joint venture partners, what do we do? What do? We fix problems. Mm-hmm. That's what we do. We take a problem of our partners and we make it easy for them. Now, I don't know about you, but I love fixing. I love helping people. I love being that person, that hero that makes things easy. I love it. I thrive on that. And here I can do that and make money at it. It's a pretty good proposition. So,
Trevor, you made an excellent comment there. Busy people, everyone thinks they're busy. Exactly. You know, when you ask people, so how's it been going lately? Oh, busy, busy. How many times a week, a day do we hear people say, oh yeah, I've been busy? And so everybody thinks they're busy. So if now your one-line moneymaker is, I help busy people invest in real estate without having them do any of the work, or I take all the heavy lifting off of busy people and we invest in real estate together. Yeah. We can come up with so many different one-line moneymakers that now they are identifying busy people. I love it, Trevor. We're identifying, because that identifies with a lot of different people. So much different than if I said, I'm a real estate investor and I work with people. Okay, that's not specific enough.
Or if I said the opposite, I said, well, I'm a real estate investor. Generally speaking, I take down payment money from people. You qualify for the mortgage. I will do all of the work. I manage the tenants. I, fill the properties. I find the properties. I filter everything. I send you an annual report and a yearly report. And then, at some point when the property goes up enough, we're going to refinance it, and then you're going to get a return on your money. And then we can actually flip that into a TFSA where you can get a tax rebate and blah 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 blah. That too, it's like, whoa, dude, way too much information. A confused mind says no. You just gave me way too much. Okay, yeah.
So here's the key, and we're going to repeat this over and over again. Keeping it simple is very important. Keeping it short. Remember, we're calling this a one-line moneymaker. This is not a 2 or 3 line moneymaker. This is a one-line moneymaker. It's a quick response that gets the point across as to who we help, how we help them, what problem we can fix. That's the key to all of this. And if we can concise that,
concisely.
Yeah, say that concisely, make it concise so that it's very, very simple, it's clear. People then understand it. We can get our point across very easily. And what it starts to do is it starts to elicit questions. People start to then come back to us and say, tell me more. I want to know more. Oh, that's strange. Tell me more.
Everybody someone
wants
that's
to find
their
out
problem.
more. Yes.
Yeah. Like, who doesn't want to work with someone who's going to take away their headaches? So picture who that person is, okay? Who's that person for you that in the next week, now again, you're going to have a few different one-line moneymakers, but this week, I want you to focus on one, okay? Who is that person that you're talking to? What is their problem? So some, typical problems that we find that money partners will have. They understand real estate, they know real estate, but they don't have the time for it, or they don't want the headaches, okay? Is that your person?
How many people do you know when you say that you've been investing in real estate, or you're getting into investing in real estate, immediately they say, well, you're crazy. Or they start asking questions about the market. Or, you know, why would you invest now? Oh, I wish I would have done that 10 years ago. These are some of the comments that you're going to hear, and these are some of the thoughts that people have. And it's because a lot of people get into investing in real estate and then don't want to deal with tenants, or don't have the time to do it because, you know, they have to go out there and look at properties, and they have to, or the patience.
Sometimes, like, they're just, I don't want to, but I want the returns.
But almost every single person out there has heard that, you know, all the millionaires out there, all the billionaires out there, they made their fortune from investing in real estate. They might have made it from some businesses or that sort of thing, but vast majority of them, I think the number is above 90% of the millionaires out there have done it by investing in real estate, or at least now invest in real estate. And so people understand that, they know that, but they are scared to do it themselves.
Right.
And that's where you and I, that's where us as fearless investors come into the picture, because we can help them. They can invest in real estate, but we're going to take all of that load, all of that stress, all of those headaches, all of the time off of their shoulders. And that's where we can now become an investor without having to put in the money. They can fund it, we do the work, and they win and we win. And that's the key to all of this.
And the beauty of it, like I just saw Karen commenting, and you guys are all commenting saying, yeah, people think we're crazy. People are always knocking it. And the beauty of it is at first when you start, you have nothing to say because you don't have a proven track record. But soon enough, you'll see that those same people that are calling you crazy right now, in 5 years from now, they're the ones that are also going, so, you want to tell me about that? And you know, when you first started it, I thought, man, what are you doing? What are you thinking? But you know, I've got a little bit of money. I wouldn't mind, you know, because they start seeing your lifestyle. Karen, you said that once a month you hear at work people calling you crazy. But I know in your case, Karen, this is Sean Kearney's wife, Karen, and you can say to them, well, actually I make more on my real estate than I do in my salaried job, right? When you can do that kind of stuff and say that kind of stuff, the power in that. Now, does that attract partners? Absolutely. You think your friends and family think you're in a cult. I love it.
So true.
We heard that.
When we first got started into real estate and we're telling people that we were getting into real estate, they thought we were crazy. Tiff's been saying that. They thought, why would you do that? You guys are absolutely nuts.
My brother-in-law like sat us down, like gave us this, like, he's like this engineer's like lecture, and I mean, we love him to death. He's Corey's best friend. He married my sister. He's family. But I'm telling you, like, we were like,
hopefully he's not watching. But yes, people thought we were nuts for doing this, but the beauty of it is, years later, guess what people thought about us? You know, when we were investing and we had made quite a big chunk of change because of real estate. Then people thought it went from being crazy to being lucky. And that's okay. It doesn't really matter what other people think about you. And that's the key to all of this. So when people start thinking you're crazy, what the key to that is they start asking you some questions. And when you can educate them and you can give them the right answers and you can start to say in one line who you are and what you do, this is the key to all of this. And
Jennifer, like Jen, every time you ask for babysitters so you can go to a real estate event, people roll their eyes. Totally. You know what? Let them, Jen, because you're going to change their lives. You are rocking and rolling. You've got some amazing opportunities with properties that nobody else can get right now, which is amazing. And Jen, you're going to change their life. So you know what? Let your actions speak for themselves. Don't try to change and convince people that aren't interested. That's not your job, guys. We're talking to people today about people today that either don't know that they are interested in it or know that they are, but need a little bit of help in it. So,
and Brenda, you made a great comment. You said, to be honest, most of my friends don't have real estate in their brain, too many headaches. The beauty of that is that then your friends or your family that think they don't have real estate in their brain because it's too many headaches, they can become potential partners. Why?
And
because you can remove those headaches. You can take those headaches on. You can be the one that deals with all of that, but still invest their money in a hard asset like real estate. And so now all of those people that think you're crazy, believe it or not, a lot of those people can become potential partners if we speak to them correctly, if we explain to them correctly without sounding like mumbo jumbo, without sounding crazy. We can clearly define who we are, what we do. It's incredible how many of those people will become investors for us.
So here's a couple more ideas for you, okay, guys? what problems do they have? So you've got, ideally in your mind, you've got a target investor or type of investor, okay? For this week. Again, you may have a few more later, but for this week, you've got your one demographic of people in mind. Now, what problem do they have? Is it time? Is it they don't want the headaches? Is it that they're not people? Is it they can't picture themselves having the patience to deal with tenants? Is it that they don't have the confidence, or the, they get overwhelmed by the thought of it? Is their problem that they're getting a 2% return on their RSP and that's it? Is it that they want to do flips? They've seen all the TV shows, they love it, they've got the money for it, they've got the drive for it, but they can't swing a hammer? But you can? Is that the void that you want to fix? Or that you have the contractor that can swing the hammer? Maybe you don't want to do the hammer swinging yourself either, but you know the guys that can. Is it a certain market? Are you in a market that everybody wants a piece of right now, but they don't have the guts to go into it without having some boots on the ground? That's a huge one. That's how actually we attracted the majority of our joint venture partners, is because the market we were in was, had some fantastic economics going on, but not a lot of people wanted to live there. I mean, we're from Edmonton. People didn't want to move to Edmonton to invest, but they also didn't want to invest from afar. So we marketed the heck out of Alberta and all of the merits, the $90 billion that was going into our market. And we were able to be highly successful in a short amount of time because we saw those things and we marketed them to the right people. So what is the problem that you have, or that your target demographic investor has, that you're able to fix? Okay, so you got your worksheets out. You've got your demographic of person. Who are they? People are afraid of Quebec. So invest somewhere else, Jessica, or teach them otherwise. Mm-hmm. Show them why they don't need to be afraid. Be the expert in your market. This is why I'm investing in Quebec. Quebec has a long time reputation of being full of renters, good quality homeowner type renters from every other part of the country, but they're renting long-term, 20, 30, 40 years, lifetimes. What do you get? You get a great tenant demographic. Why is that important? You don't get a lot of move-outs there.
Those are just suggestions, but those are ideas as to you need to be knowledged on why somebody would invest. So if I'm from Quebec, why would I want somebody to invest in Quebec? If we can answer those questions, then you become a market expert. Mm-hmm. We need to be able to answer those questions. That's a different topic. Right now, we're just want to focus in on who are you and what do you do, and that one line moneymaker, because that's the question that we get all the time, and we need a good response. So who's the demographic that we're going to be speaking to most often? What problem do they have, and how can you fix it? Those are the three things that I want you to think about right now. Who do we talk to? What problem do they have? And how do we fix it? And if we can figure out those three things and answer those three questions in one sentence, we have the beginnings of our one-line moneymaker. We have a starter package that we can start using as of tonight, as of tomorrow morning, so that when we are asked that question, we now have a response to give. And the key to all of this, you are going to flub it up. It's not going to roll off your tongue the first few times you say it. You're going to look awkward because you're going to feel awkward. That is okay. You need to practice it. You need to say it several times before it starts to become natural. Is that making sense, guys?
Yeah, is that making sense?
Let us know if all of this is making sense.
Yay or nay?
Yay or nay, exactly. Let's put it in the comments. Yay if it's making sense, nay if it's not.
Watch it go nay, 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 nay.
Nay, nay, nay. Isn't there what?
Yeah.
Nay, nay.
It's like a song.
Oh, okay, okay.
Whatever. I don't know what it is. But, okay, we're just going to give you guys a minute to catch up. There's about a 20-second delay before we start seeing comments. So, yay, yes. Okay, we got yays.
Okay, good. Yes, total sense. Yay,
that's a dangerous
yes,
question
awesome.
to ask.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, yay. Okay, guys, so it's making sense. Who's your target investor? So get out your worksheets. And who do you help? That is the first blank.
First blank.
Write
Let's fill it in
down.
if you haven't filled it in already.
Who do you help?
Who is your
Yay.
demographic? Who do you help? Who do you help? I want you to write that down on the worksheet.
Yeah.
Who is your target demographic? Who are you going to be most often speaking to? Is it retired people? Is it young families?
Yay.
Is it people at work? Is it people at school? Tell us or write it down. Who is it that you're going to most likely be speaking to in the next week?
You're going to do this again and again for different scenarios, but in the next week, who are you going to actually be talking to? Who are you going to put this in practice with? Here's what you're going to write down. Number 1, who do you help? Okay. Now, number 2, what problems do they have? Again, time, expertise, knowledge, desire. What is the problem that you can fix that they have? Okay, so that's number 2.
Love it, Jennifer. I practice my pitch on my kids. 4-year-old will be a pro soon.
I love it.
That's awesome. Practice it on your kids. That's
and
excellent idea.
And remember last boot camp, Colleen sent us a video of her son doing his one-line moneymaker. Oh my goodness, I saved it. I still have it. Okay, now that's number 2. What problem do they have? Number 3. Now we're going to work on number 3. What result will you give that solves that problem? This is a value proposition. Okay, that's all it is. In sales, we hear about this. It's just a value proposition. Now, in a clear, concise, one sentence, casual, flippant, normal human being way. That's all we're doing, is we're just making it normal. Okay, so what result will you give? So what results do we have? Now, here's some ideas for you. Okay, again, this whole boot camp is making it you. If it's not you, if it's not authentic, if it's not transparent, if it's not who you are and how you would say it, it ain't gonna work. Okay, so we want you to figure out what works for you. So, right, the kids in the group will be the smartest bunch and the cutest. I love it. Okay, is it a consistent return that they're looking for? Okay, some people hate the ups and downs of mutual funds and markets. Is it a percentage? Is it a more, they like land, they like having a tangible asset? Is that the problem that they have that you can fix? Is it quick injections of cash through flips? Do they not want a long-term investment? They more want that quick money, and you can provide that through doing flips or burrs with them. Opposite to that, is it something long-term? They don't really need cash flow right now. They want something for retirement, or they want something so that when their kids get to that age, they've got, equity that they can just pay for their education and not have their kids get into student loans or not have to save up for it. So a long-term opportunity maybe. Is it a learning opportunity? Now, here's a really cool one, is a learning JV. And that's where we say to people, listen, if you don't have the confidence for it, why don't we do a joint venture together for your first property? You've got the money, I've got the expertise, we'll do it together. I will include you on every email, every conference call. I will, forward to you all the paperwork. You can go through it. I will answer all your questions on it. It's a learning JV. I'll teach you everything you need to know about the first one. I'll manage it still. We'll split profits. But by the end of it, you should have the confidence and ability to go forward with your next one. Because the first one's often the hardest to do. So, is it a learning JV that you want to do? RSPs, I see a lot of questions about RSPs. We will touch on that. RSPs is a whole kind of different gamut because it's regulated by legislation. So are you an expert in TFSAs? Do you know how they work? Do you know how to get people to max out their TFSA so that there's tax savings? Do you know how to use RSPs? We're going to talk about that. VTBs and seller financing. Do you know how to talk to sellers, and can you negotiate those kinds of deals? And so you get less money down for your investors. Do you have energy? When we started, we didn't have any of this stuff. We weren't TFSA experts. We weren't VTB experts. We didn't know RSP stuff. We couldn't teach anyone because we didn't know. But what did we have? We had energy and we had drive, and we were willing to do whatever it took. And our partners knew that, and they could see this like fire. That's what a lot of people said to us, hey? Mm-hmm. That they could see the fire in our eyes, and they knew that we were going to get it. So absolutely, is that an asset? Yeah. you know, when you look at, so we're 42 and 43. When you look at 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds, and you see that vigor and vim that they've got and that like drive and motive, aren't you like, oh man, I remember those days? And you're like, you know, we stayed up painting properties until, you know, 3 a.m. One of my fondest memories is like I was dead. I'd been painting all day and I was like dead and laying on the carpet of the nasty carpet of this place that we still hadn't replaced the carpet in. And Corey was putting up a light fixture and we had Air Supply going. Do you remember? Air Supply was playing on our radio and we had rum and cokes. And I'm laying on the carpet just looking up and he's putting up this light fixture and we have this music going and I was like, this is fun. Okay, I'm 42 now.
That's because she was laying on the carpet.
No,
I was doing the light fixture, so I wasn't thinking it was fun at the time. But you know,
I had done my share. Don't you worry.
Oh, I know.
But at the end of the day, now that does not sound like fun. It does not sound like fun at all. But it was back then because we were 20, we were kids, and so there's that youthful energy and that drive that is super attractive to joint venture partners. So if you don't have the experience, don't worry about it.
So do you have the fire? Rachel here says, I have the fire in my eyes and belly all set to make this happen.
I know you do.
I can tell you do, yes. And that's the thing. If we, yes, Celine Dion, Trevor, Air Supply and Celine Dion. Yeah, so
Corey
I must have shared that story at one point.
Celine Dion fan. We went to Vegas 3 times to see her, 2 of which she canceled.
While we were there.
While we were there. Got there and canceled the concerts. But anyways, yes, we finally did see her. His dream came true. You know the question of if you could have dinner with anyone.
I'm man enough to say it out loud. Yes, I'm a Celine Dion fan.
Yeah, we don't go for me. But you know you know, if you could have dinner with anyone question, who would it be? Like, I'm Oprah all the way. He's Celine Dion. Like crazy. Or Tiger Woods. Crazy.
Yeah, that's not that crazy, but
that is crazy.
Eye of the Tiger going on in my head now. Yes. Yeah. Awesome.
It's hilarious.
Yes. So what's the point in all of this? First thing we wrote down was who is your target?
Who is your target?
Who are you going to run into the most? Start thinking about that person. Second thing you wrote down on your worksheet is what problem do they have? Third thing you're writing down on your worksheet is what result can we give to them? If we can figure out these 3 things, the next thing we do is we put that into a paragraph. It might be 2, 3, 4 sentences long, okay? Who is it? What problem do they have? How can I fix it? We put what result can I give to them? If we put that into a paragraph, the next step is then to shorten that paragraph down to 1 sentence.
So let's do this. We got number 1. Who do you help? Number 2, what problems? Number 3, result. Now take all of those 3 things. I've got this we've got the worksheet here. So take all of these 3 things, all those 3 sentences that you wrote, and in the last paragraph, now bring those together in a 2 to 3 sentence paragraphs that sums all that up. Write each of those sentences down right then in 1. You'll end up with a paragraph. I got my fire. Irina, I know you got fire, girl. I really wish we'd met you when we were out there in September.
And yes, Ryan, the target changes based on the dynamic of the audience, definitely. So if we're talking to a room of dentists, we're going to be experts for dentists. If we're talking to a room of oil workers, I noticed that mentioned, or we're talking to one person that we know is an oil worker, we're going to say, I help oil workers. So the point of it is be specific. And if you don't know what they do or who they are, maybe it's starting, that's a clue that we ask the question first to them. Who is it? You know, who are you and what do you do? And once we find that out, we can tailor our 1-line moneymaker towards them. But the point of all of this is, yes, the more specific we can get, the better. The more we can tell them how we can solve their problems, the better. And if we can do that short, concise, simple manner without confusing them, it's incredible how that can start to lead to much bigger conversations.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the deal. You're going to now take that, and this is your homework. You're going to take that long paragraph that you wrote out, and you're going to absolutely simplify it into that 1. And that's going to be the box there at the very bottom. Now simplify it. Day 1 homework. Write your 1-line moneymaker. Now don't do it right now because it's going to be too much. But you're going to take all of that information. You're going to say, you know, I help engineers invest in real estate without having to lift a finger. Done. I provide consistent returns, or I provide monthly income to retirees looking to invest in real estate without the headaches. Again,
that is again, who, what problem do they have? Headaches, inconsistent returns. Those are some of the problems that people have. Low returns. These are some of the problems people have, and what's the result? So Tiffany identified all three of those things in her one-line moneymaker, and practicing these things over and over. So that's your homework for tonight, guys. Your homework for tonight is to come up with your own personal one-line moneymaker. And tomorrow, we're going to be sharing that. Tomorrow, we're going to start off by sharing those one-line moneymakers. We're going to see what everybody else is thinking, what everybody else is saying. We're going to hear different examples. And when we hear so many different examples of what people are saying, what they're going to use, then some of them will strike a chord with us.
Yeah.
Some of them will start to make sense.
This is all about learning and sharing.
We learn from each other.
So you're going to throw it in there. You're going to do your best to make it clear, simple, and concise. You're not going to use investor language. You're going to try and keep it really, really simple.
You know what? One thing I wanted to just share is an illustration, and it's, you know, who out there loves to fish? Okay. Is there anyone out there that loves to fish? Tiffany loves to fish, and every single time we go out fishing, she's the one that catches the fish. For whatever reason, the way that she holds the rod, I don't know what it is, but she's good at it.
Love fishing, and if you ever can make it, go to Newfoundland for the cod run. It is.
Oh, that's phenomenal.
It is absolutely.
We were in Newfoundland.
Fun.
What, 7 years ago?
No.
Yeah, it's 2012. And we went to this one spot. We went with friends of ours that were from Newfoundland. They took us to this one spot out in the ocean. We dropped our hooks. Before the hook could even hit the bottom, we had 1-2 fish on it.
No, you could
They
feel
were
them
hitting
bump,
the fish
bump,
on the way down. That's how crazy it was.
We did the hand jigging. We didn't do the rods. We did like the old-fashioned hand jigging, and you could the hooks that were on there. The metal was hitting the
fish on the way down. Unbelievable.
It was falling.
They knew the spot to go. But
okay.
I wanted to share this illustration with you because it's very, very important, and it's all about, if you love to fish, we all use a hook fishing, right? We put a hook into the water, and what does that hook do? Well, it grabs fish, right? But different hooks attract different type of fish. We wouldn't use a jigging hook if we're trying to catch a perch in Alberta. We would use a jigging hook if we're trying to catch cod in Newfoundland off the coast. So we use different hooks.
Look at you talking perch.
Oh, see, I'm an expert fisherman. We use different hooks for different types of fish, and that's really what your one-line moneymaker is. It's just a hook. It's something that will be shiny. It's something that will attract a bite. And that's all we're trying to do.
All we're doing is dangling.
With our one-line moneymaker.
Then they come. We're not chasing. We're not out there with a spear and hitting people. All we're doing is attracting, and they will come to us, okay? It's too hard to chase. It's too emotionally draining to go through the rejection and the fear and the overwhelm of chasing. All we're doing is dropping that dangly, beautiful, shiny object, and they're going to come to us if they're interested. And if they're not, we are not going to start chasing them.
So think of your one-line moneymaker as that hook. What can make it shiny? What can start somebody to ask you more questions? Yay. That's the whole purpose of it. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. All we're doing is dropping hooks, and that's what our one-line moneymaker is.
Okay, so let me give you an example of not dropping a hook. I asked somebody who specializes in RSPs and dealing with people's RSPs, registered funds to buy real estate. I asked them what they do, okay? And their answer was, well, I take people's RSPs and we convert it to a self-directed account, and we go over to a company called Olympia Trust, and what we do is we have them move their RSPs from there and into Olympia, and then they send it to me as a second mortgage, and then I get funded on that mortgage once I've complied with the appraisal and all the things that I have to comply with. And then that funds me, and then I give them a consistent return back for that. That was their one-line moneymaker. Holy Hannah, I'm out. I'm done. It's too much. That is chasing people with a spear. We're just dangling a hook. I provide consistent returns for people with RSPs by investing in real estate. Simple. Pause. Yeah. Chill. Casual. I didn't get all formal. I didn't change my demeanor. I just stayed who I am.
You're right, Andrea. That one-line moneymaker certainly wouldn't work because it's more than one line, for one thing. Yeah. And it's too complicated for another. And it doesn't fix a problem for somebody.
Yeah.
So this is all the stuff that we want to have in our one-line moneymaker.
Yeah. So another example, and one that I love to use, is gardening. So maybe you're not a fisherman, but you're a gardener. So how many people love gardening? I love gardening. You know, we plant seeds, but how many seeds do we have to plant in order to get, you know, a really good seedling? Quite a few. And do we have to, you know, clear out and thin out our seeds so that the energy, the nutrients, the supplies are left for those strong seedlings? Yeah, we do. We can't just scatter seeds and think that those that, you know, drop on pavement are going to actually fertilize. Sprout. Thank you. You know, we are just planting seeds. Now, if we plant a seed and it doesn't come back to us and they're not interested in it, it's not our job to start trying to convince them of something they don't want. It's our job to plant seeds and see which ones sprout and then nurture them.
Exactly.
We water them, we fertilize them, we take care of them. We don't go after those that dried up and died out. That would be a waste of time.
Does every
and
single seed sprout? No.
Hey, Janice.
Absolutely not. Yes, the group of people in this boot camp are on fire, totally. And you guys are rock stars. And these are the points, these little things that if we get them in our head and we understand it and we're repeating the same things over and over because it's important, we have to hear things over and over for it to really stick. But, you know, not every hook is going to catch a fish.
And that's
I go out fishing. I don't always catch a fish. She does every single time she goes out fishing, but I don't necessarily catch a fish.
He just has to do all the work of tying the lines for me and doing all the hooks.
That's why I'm not a huge fan of fishing.
And then touching the fish
that's
to take it off
topic.
the hook because the poor little mouth's bleeding just makes me sick. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think next time you have to take the fish off the hook.
No.
But what's the point? Every hook is not going to catch a fish. Every seed planted is not going to sprout. That is okay. And that is, but some seeds will sprout and some hooks will catch a fish. And it's just a matter of putting them out there and planting them. And that's all we're trying to do with the one-line moneymaker. For
sure. Okay, so here's the caveat to all of this. Oh no, that's tomorrow. Never mind.
Yes, that's
never
tomorrow.
Mind.
You're getting ahead of ourselves.
I am. Okay, so here's the deal. Practice makes partners. Practice makes
that was tomorrow too.
Partners, that's okay.
We talk about this all the time, guys.
We need you to say it out loud, okay? So we want you to write down it, put it in your worksheet. What's your one-line moneymaker? You're taking that 3 sentences and you're making it super concise into one very casual, very you comment, okay? And then you're going to say it out loud. And then what's that going to do? It's going to make you cross off your thing and redo it. Because once you say it out loud, you're going to be like, oh, I can't say that. So you have to say it out loud, okay? That's going to make it so that you can go out there and use it this week with people. You're going to use it this week and be able to go for starting conversations, dropping those hooks, planting those seeds, getting some momentum in your life, whether that's, you know, the people that you're friends and family with, the people that you work with, the people at soccer practice or swimming meets or whatever it is that you do in your life. Maybe you don't do a whole lot. Maybe you're retired and you don't have interaction. Maybe you work from home. You don't have interaction with people as much as you used to. You know, there's so many places that you can meet other people. Get out there, reconnect with old friends. You know, whatever it might be. There are people, but you have to put the work in. You have to put the effort in, and you have to get out there.
100%. And Ryan, how long before you were successful after dropping seeds and hooks when you first started? Ooh. Excellent question. It took us a while to get going. Let's be honest about this. We started learning about real estate. It was well over a year and a half almost before we ended up buying our first property with a partner. It took us a while to get going. The whole point of this boot camp is so that it doesn't take you guys a year and a half to get going.
Because we systemize it. Like after a while, we started realizing what we were doing wrong, what we were doing right, what was working. Like the same thing started working all the time. And we were like, oh.
And it really only took us doing it once. And then we were like, oh, wow, this makes so much more sense now. And then it became more natural for us. So the whole point of this boot camp, and as we'll talk about later in the week, our Ignited program, is to jumpstart you guys to the point where you're not having to wait a year and a half to get your next partner. You can, as some of our Ignited members have mentioned, they've doubled the number of doors in the first couple of months of being an Ignited member, or they've made a significant process after taking the boot camp. the point is to just make this way easier. We had roadblocks, we made mistakes. You don't have to do those. You're still going to make mistakes, but we can lessen the amount of mistakes that you're going to make and shorten that time span that it's going to take. It's a shortcut. Exactly.
Sure. Yeah. It's a system to follow, so you don't have to make it up yourself. Don't recreate the wheel, guys. We've been there, we've done that. We've helped countless clients do the same one-on-one in our coaching. We moved last year into a group program in Ignited, which, I mean, who knew it would be so fantastic that all the people in it, the group atmosphere and the community that you get and the pushing and the helping one another has just created this crazy momentum that we never even expected. We've helped so many people get through. It's not just us. It's worked for so many others, and it can work for you. You just have to apply the system, stick with us, trust it even when you're like, oh, I don't like this, or this sucks, or this is stupid, or I don't want to do this part. Stick with the system. It's 5 days out of your life.
Yeah.
Stick with it. It won't fail you. You're going to get momentum from it, and it's going to save you a lot of time and energy and tears. For me, tears. Sick stomachs, sleepless nights, all that stuff. It's going to save you a lot of that, and you're going to really see some changes in your life. So
what top tip do we have so it doesn't take you over a year to get going? Guys, this week you're going to be hearing them all. You're going to hear our top tips. Today, our number one tip is your one-line money maker, defining that, practicing it. As Tiffany mentioned, practice makes not perfect. Practice makes partners. That's what we're talking about this week, is that if you practice this stuff, not only today's homework, tomorrow's homework, the next day's homework, if we practice these things, we put them into place, practice makes partners. You're hearing from some of our Ignited members that says it will change your life. Yes, these types of things can change your life. And the principles that we're talking about this week, if you want to apply them in other businesses, other than real estate, you can totally do that as well. We're really learning how to attract investors, how to attract money, and how to attract interest in people to invest with us. So these principles apply in any realm, but we're applying them this week towards real estate.
To joint venturing. And you know what, guys, we've taken, we always have a coach, always. And we've taken more coaching and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on it.
Yes, we have.
And you know, all of that is come down to all the things that we learned work. And it's not our ideas. It's not. It's the coaching that we've taken, but we've now put it into a system that we've gotten rid of the stuff that didn't work and put in stuff that does work. And we brought kind of all of our coaching and all of our learning together into one spot. And so that's what you're getting. It's not us. It's the stuff that we've learned from other people, our mentors, our coaches. And we're bringing it all down into, you know, some really good, positive, concise systems that are easy to follow. Easy, it has to be easy. I need an easy button. I'm not a person that likes detail. I can't stand detail. I'm not good at it. We're going to absolutely come back tomorrow and give you some really great ones that we found and heard, okay, so that you have some really good ideas tomorrow on, okay, this works, this doesn't. Oh, I like that one. I'm going to steal that. I'm going to steal this. Make it better. So, but really, let it roll off your tongue, okay? Get it out loud. That's key. Sandals on the ground, Sarah. I saw that earlier, and you betcha. Right now I'm barefoot. But yes.
Okay, so guys, we wanted to, every day this week.
Corey wants to do this weird thing.
We just thought of this last week, but every day this week we want to share something from Thailand with you. Okay?
So our Thai shirts, which again are tourist Thai shirts, I think, because the real ones are so hot.
Celine Dion impression. No, you will never hear me do that. How could I replicate such a wonderful voice? That would be impossible. Okay, so we're going to share something with you today. Some things that we found. We didn't have. Cool. We tried looking last night.
Timidly because I'm not an adventurous
is the most timid
person.
But we thought we'd share a few little snacks with you. So you look at this here. We bought this for 10 baht at the 7-Eleven last night. 10 baht is roughly about 35-40 cents Canadian. Okay, so it's a little snack.
Squid.
It's crispy squid flavored fish snack.
Okay, what's really cool too, Kit Kat, popcorn, Kit Kat, popcorn, Kit Kat.
So we have not tried this yet.
Halls mints though. I don't think they're actual like Halls like throat drops that we have.
Okay, so we have some squid snack here. So what do you guys think? What do you think that tastes like?
Salt candies.
Okay, you're gonna try first? It's squid snack.
I'm not adventurous in my eating. I love spicy, I love ethnic food, but I'm not into like
It's good. It's actually really spicy. Oh, it says spicy on the... Oh, it's spicy.
Pretty good.
Okay, really good. Yes,
good.
it is spicy, Ryan.
It is spicy.
Super spicy. Fun squid, they call it. And it says spicy right here.
Actually, it doesn't taste much like squid.
It is actually quite spicy.
And not bad at all. It doesn't taste like squid.
If you had to close your eyes and taste
me
this,
out.
what would it taste like to you? Like a hot Dorito?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
sure.
a really spicy Dorito.
I wonder if there's less carbs in that than there would be in chips.
Bugs.
No bugs.
I love your question, Jasmine. So
I think at the end of the week,
come the end of this week, we have a couple of
I'm
surprises about some food that Tiffany's going to try.
No,
so
I'm not. I'm not doing it.
We'll see. If you guys can maybe talk her into it.
I'm not doing it.
Okay, well, we'll see.
I don't eat bugs or grasshoppers
Guys, I need your help.
Crickets or mealworms.
I need your help to convince Tiffany to try a couple weird things by the end of the week.
The chip flavors are super fun here.
This is,
hot
look
chili.
at this.
Oh, squid again.
Lay's potato chips. Is it Lay's?
Yeah.
I think so. Lay's hot chili squid flavor. Okay.
But it is hot. Like, it's
so it looks like
hot.
a normal chip. Who would have thought we'd be eating in front of everyone?
I know, right?
Okay. Tastes similar, but it's not spicy.
Tastes like a normal chip.
Okay, what else do we have?
Okay, popcorn Kit Kat.
Popcorn Kit Kat. Has anybody on here tried popcorn Kit Kat? Oh, the bugs. I can't wait for the bugs.
You only live
Do you think
once.
we'll actually eat bugs?
You only... no, I don't. I won't even eat octopus or grasshopper or whatever.
That? No. Popcorn Kit Kat.
Smells like popcorn.
Just tastes like a Kit Kat to me.
Tastes like butter. He has no taste. He has no
no taste buds. Yeah.
No taste buds. He can't taste anything. Thank goodness, because then he can eat my cooking.
We thought we'd share.
No, two.
Two last things. What else do we have?
Halls mints. They like sell them with florets. Do you have to microwave it first? I don't know. The
Bugs on a stick. Yes, we're seeing a lot of bug comments here. Yes, the spicy squid was actually really, really good. Way better than the Lay's.
Ooh. Okay, the Halls mints are like mint. They're like.
You're choking.
No. Chew it.
Isn't Halls for like if you're sick?
It's like eating menthol. It's like eating peppermint oil, like a peppermint.
So Halls, limited edition. Anybody ever tried one of these? It tastes like Halls to me,
but
normal Halls.
Super strong.
Yeah.
Can you not feel that?
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, last one.
Okay, last one.
And we're getting more and more adventurous as the week goes on, guys. Okay?
Yeah, this is just a start.
Right, Bernie?
This is a really tame start.
Right?
Okay.
For our Igniter members?
Last thing.
Watermelon salt.
Watermelon salt.
Mmm. Best one yet.
Cool fruit flavor with a little salt.
Oh, a lot of salt, actually.
Yeah, it's good.
All right.
Okay. That was
We're gonna get more and more
tame.
adventurous as the week goes on.
I can't wait for the bugs.
No. Well, you can.
It's a really cool country. You know what we found is as hot as it is, as beautiful as it is, as warm as the water is, what really leaves an impression on us is how kind the people are. Mm-hmm. And you know, from the staff to the people we've met on the street, people are super kind here. You know, one of the words that I've learned is, you know, to say thank you, and they all kind of go like this, and they bow down a little bit, and they say, it's different for women than it is for guys, but I would say kapkun kap, and that's how I say thank you. She says kapkun kap. Yes. But as men, we say kapkun kap.
Sticky rice with mango. My favorite. Haven't had it yet. We've been here for 2 weeks. Haven't had it yet. Definitely need to do that.
So that's how we say thank you, guys.
We're going to go try to find some fun stuff to share with you guys.
Or kapkun kap. That's how we say thank you in Thailand. And we want to thank you guys for joining us.
And tomorrow we're going to talk more about, now, once you start using it, now what do you say? Because lots of times we're like, "Wah!" Right? Like, okay, now I put it out there and someone asked me a question and I have no idea how to answer it.
It's been said so many times in the last couple of hours about how as a group we can help each other.
Yeah.
So as a group, let's help one another.
So awesome.
You guys are awesome.
Love you're
Thanks for
sending.
joining
Look at
us.
all this.
And we will see you tomorrow, guys. Take care.
Cheers.